Don't waste your time talking with the wrong people. Instead, start talking to the right people the right way. That's what today's question is about. Hello and welcome to the community of people looking for motivation, support, and guidance to live out their esports dreams. My name is Sam, aka Just Casual, and let's jump into our question from GundayMonday. So Gunday asks, how do you figure out how to match content with a target audience in a way that lands well? So a quick synopsis: provide value, develop connection, and make good content. Let's start off with the idea: strong VP for your TA. VP being value prop, TA being target audience. Who is the person that you're targeting, and what is the value or the reward or benefit that they're gonna get from you and your content? When I think most people approach target audience, they go really broad because I want everyone to be my customer. I want to sell to everyone, or I want my content to be for everyone. But instead, what you want to do is you want to usually dig 3 steps deeper, right? So when you think about your target audience, when you're digging deeper, you want to think about like, who is a person that actually needs this content? Like, what are their struggles? What do they believe in? What do they care about, right? And then I would say, don't be vague, be specific. The reason why you want to start with a narrower target audience is that you can speak to that audience better and more to them, and they will suddenly be like, I care about this person. They know me. They know my struggles. They are going to give me this reward because he's talking to me, right? So 1, it's going to convert your smaller audience better. And 2, what's going to end up happening is your content's going to be like a lot more focused, and therefore you'll be able to make better content. Now let's go into value proposition. So what is the reward for your audience? You know, it has to be really clear, and they need to know that quickly, right? And with so many free things and with so many other people, especially in League of Legends, that are creating content and educational content, like what stands out to them? Is this just like entertaining, or like, I'm gonna get something out of this because it's the highest Sejuani rated Sejuani jungler main in NA? Or is this something like, oh, this person like knows his data, has been working on this tryharder stuff, and like is going to make sure that I climb out of bronze finally for the first time? And then on top of that, I would say if you want to go an extra step with the value proposition, which I think you should, because most people stop at the first part. First part is, what do you do? On top of that, it's why do you do it? You know, and if you're able to answer that why do you do it, that makes an emotional connection that will deepen their trust and how much they like you. And that's important when selling your content. So let's focus on actually just one stream that you might want to do a week that's focused on showcasing tryharder.gg, right? Let's say, for example, with GundayMonday, he is a streamer, Sejuani main, that does a lot of educational content. I believe his full-time job revolves around statistics, or at least he's a lover of stats and data. He's also starting this thing called tryharder.gg. I would suggest you check it out, and basically trying to give actionable steps to improve in the game. When you think about your target audience, I might be like, I'm going to be talking to the person that is stuck in elo hell for way too long. Like, they hate it, they love the game, but they're not getting better and they're sick of it. They've been down there way too long. Hey, elo hell, real or not, doesn't matter. Someone believes this. That's the target audience. Maybe I'd also add to that someone that's like the worst player amongst their 4 other friends that they're playing solo queue with, or that they're playing league with. This is what you need to start thinking about with your target audience, because you need to start speaking their language, understanding their struggles, understanding what like hurts them. It's not like, oh, I want to get better. Everyone wants to get better, but do they actually want to get better? If I think about someone that's like cares about data and finding actionable ways to get better and coaching, those kind of things, I'm looking for someone that's like on Reddit, that's subscribed to Summoner School, that is probably the bottom 35% or maybe the bottom 50% when it comes to the elo rankings, or the person that like is too scared to play ranked. I'm thinking about those people, the streamers that they watch, the content that they're digesting, why they're like sick of using mobilytics. That's where you need to start thinking about your target audience. Get really specific so you can service them very well. Then what could be some examples of value propositions? Well, it's like, have more control of your games by using real data, not using your emotions, which could be misleading, or your poor recollection of like biases of more losses than wins, or those kind of things, right? Or maybe like get your gold reward, that Victoria skin. Or maybe it's like finally get over the plateau you've been stuck at for like way too long, right? These are all things that are value propositions that you can give to like one stream. And by one stream, I mean just like one streaming session. And maybe an example of like that second why connection in the value proposition. Maybe it's like you've been at low elo and you know how much it sucks down there, and the game is so much better when you climb. Not true, by the way, but it's so much better when you climb. Or maybe it's like you've coached so many people and you're like, it is so easy to climb out of low elo. It's so easy to get out of bronze, silver, and gold, and you know it, and so many people just do not know these 5 basic things. And if they know it, their dreams will come true. Like, that's why you care. Like, you care about those people that have been struggling so hard because they just don't know like this like gospel truth that you have, right? Like, that is another why that can help connect the audience to you and your content. All right, second thing, develop KLT. What is KLT? Know, like, and trust. Why is it important? Because it builds a connection with your audience. This is a very common marketing thing. You can find many videos and articles about this, but pretty much you want people to know who you are, so that's building awareness for your brand, which I'm sure you're aware of how to do as a streamer. I've also know like you came onto the podcast, the Lola podcast, when I was hosting that to get more people to know about Try Harder, and we talked about things and did coaching, all that kind of stuff. So you got to build awareness for your brand. Then once you get people to know you, you need to build that connection through the like phase. And you know, you're a likable guy, just make sure your personality shines through, maybe a little more transparency, maybe more common ground that you put out there. I think you know how to do this kind of stuff. And then the trust aspect, which is like, you need them to trust because customers buy because they trust, right? If you're trying to sell a Try Harder or trying to get more stream followers or subscribers or Twitch Prime subs, like, you need to build that trust. So thinking about knowing, liking, and trusting, like those, if you actually keep that in the back of your head while you're doing content and doing these things, that will shape your content into figuring out how to portray yourself and how to portray your content. So the last thing I want to talk about is making good content. You have to actually make sure your content is good, right? If you're making bad content and serving it to the right target audience, well, they don't care. If you're making great content but serving it to the wrong audience, they also don't care. But they might be like, wow, that's really good editing, or he's really like charming or whatever, right? So hopefully the exercises about like figuring out your value proposition and target audience, it's gonna help narrow it down, help you know who you're targeting, what your content's supposed to sound like, what it's supposed to be like, what feels right, and what they need. That's gonna make it good content, at least better content. And you also have to audit yourself. You have to be really honest with yourself, and maybe you can't be honest with yourself, or maybe you're not maybe you yourself can't judge your content well enough. You need to have someone else check it out. I talk a little bit about auditing in our previous Just Ask. I'll link it in the episode description. It'll also be on the end card. But you have to make sure your content is good. And sometimes your content isn't good from the start. I think, again, you probably know that as a streamer. So I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, but hopefully other people will understand. Gotta make your content good. So remember to provide value, develop connections, and make good content. What personalities or content do you guys trust and why? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And again, if you're enjoying the Just Ask episodes, here's another video, and the video that I mentioned before about auditing your content, which is a little segment in there. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, if you have questions, just ask. Bye.